Tanya, as you're the first one to have done that, I'll wait for the others to turn on the cameras and microphones. So, I mean, the reason I got this, I thought it was a useful sort of segue to give us a snapshot of sort of perhaps cultural maturity. Have you got any sort of comments or sort of, I was shocked that public sector seems to be lagging behind private. I thought, private's all about, making money and stuff like that. But it seems to be that actually perhaps unions are an issue, sort of thing. So I just wondered, in cultural maturity models, do unions feature? Or should they?
I imagine Phoebe would have more to say on that one in particular, but I wonder if, and it kind of links to something that Martin Small asked in the chat, in the Q&A, is about kind of how we influence senior leadership. And I think tapping into motivation. So in the commercial sector, there are clear benefits to having a safer system. There are costs which are saved. There is time off that's gained because you haven't got people off after an accident or an incident. So I think perhaps we have in the public sector, this is how we've always done things. These are the standards and the regulations to which we have to adhere. So we're almost a little bit constrained by our current system, which can prevent us, maturing in the public sector, I wonder.
Okay. Pushed the wrong button. I didn't. Right. I'm going to pick up some of the questions that have been asked. So I'm just going to flag that all the presentations will be available afterwards. It might take us a couple of weeks to get those out, so we'll do those. I've got a question here. There's a lot of focus on the importance of how everyone in an organisation can influence safety culture, but I would have thought that those in the low grade would need more buy-in from senior leadership to have a real impact. So how would staff at a lower grade persuade senior managers that they should be prioritising safety and not showing any interest? So does anyone want to respond to that?
Phoebe here, because I really do think that this is absolutely her piece.
Yeah. Sorry, Phoebe, are you still with us? Have we lost you? We may have lost her. Okay. What about Patrick? Have you, from ORR's perspective, you might be all on your own there, Tanya. I don't.
Hi, Jamie. I'm still here as well. Steve Briers at Fleet News. I think there's a message just gone into the chat to say that the other two speakers may have left the call. I mean, just picking up on the previous comment. I think particularly around unions, communication with key stakeholders is vital, and you do see that amongst the private sector companies, particularly those with fleet leaders, with fleet decision managers. Fleet decision makers, but certainly evidence in the benefits has been mentioned, whether that's cost savings, whether that's reductions in insurance premiums, whether it's company reputation, or just simply protecting your staff. That's one of the ways that a lot of businesses have had some cut through with the unions. When you start talking about protecting staff, this is why we're doing this. Why would you not want to protect your staff by us, installing telematics, for example, so that we can support them? Using words like supportive rather than checking up on and monitoring usually gets more buy-in and engagement from those within unions and at senior level within businesses.
And I think that's really, it picks up the reward policy as well, is that actually if you're doing this well, then you should be saving money, which means actually you could afford a reward policy to reward staff, sort of thing. And I was surprised with the driver training that it's not more prevalent, sort of thing. And I think sometimes this comes down to that someone is seen as a plumber, not a van driver, and so all your training is about being a plumber, not about actually how you safely get to where you're going to go and do your plumbing, sort of thing. So I think that's possibly a bit of an issue with the industry, is that we focus on perhaps the primary job, not the safety critical job of getting you there, sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to look at more questions.
Phoebe's back if you want to return to those questions you had earlier, apparently.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought I was coming in this afternoon, but I'm happy to join now.
Well, it's yeah, we've got a few minutes, so
okay. Yep.
So yes, I'd like you back this afternoon as well.
Oh, right.
But because we've got 4 minutes before our break. So I'm just trying to remember what the question was now. This was about sort of lower level staff and yes. how do they raise up, should we say, issues and stuff from the bottom?
Gosh, that's a very big question, and I'm going to start by saying, unions are a very good way of doing that as well. For those organisations that have got union representation, for those organisations that don't have union representation, there's always safety reps as well. So obviously, there's a requirement to have safety reps. So those are more sort of formal ways of doing it. I think Tanya or Patrick or possibly both were talking about sort of reporting systems, making sure that people have got an opportunity to report not just near misses but any safety concerns as well. So that's another opportunity, and know how to do it and can do it, particularly those that are out and about on the road, making sure that they've got it on a tablet or on their phone or something like that. But actually also just having an opportunity to talk as a team. And I recognise that particularly with organisations that have got people out on the road, they don't necessarily come together in the morning before they go out and do a job like many places and do toolbox talks and team talks. But it's really we've just done some work with an organisation where they're out and about on the road a lot. I mean, that's not their primary role. And interesting, Jamie, you were saying about this sort of focus on primary role rather than the driving side of things, and how important it is to have support from line managers and making sure that they have they know who their line manager is, and also have an opportunity to catch up from time to time. And that's another mechanism. Having suggestion schemes as well, drop boxes in crew rooms, on tablets. So there's plenty. But I think somebody's just been talking about feedback. It's really important. If you want staff to engage, it's also important then to tell them what's happened to their suggestions. Otherwise, if it just disappears into a black hole, people go, I can't be bothered with this. I made a suggestion. Nobody's come back to me. I can't be bothered to waste my time or breath making further suggestions. Even if nothing is happening, it's worth telling people we can't for this reason, rather than just, as I said, it disappearing into a black hole.
Okay, I'm just thinking on the sort of cultural side. At the moment within the road sector, if a driver does something that they shouldn't do, drink driving, especially in a work environment, the focus is on the driver and what they did, and not necessarily how the company should have helped them, sort of thing. So to me, that's a sort of cultural one, both within the company but also within perhaps the government, and how we approach that. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. It goes back to the point of it goes back to the point we were making earlier about sort of accountability. So obviously there is a level of accountability. Individuals need to be responsible for their own behaviour. However, what we often find is that people don't understand the potential consequences. So that when they come to make decisions, I'm going to use your sort of drink driving example there. When they come to, particularly say the evening before, I think many people underestimate how long, and I'm no expert in this, but how long alcohol can sit in the blood. So it's about, we talked earlier about communication. So it's about putting things in the terms of communicating messages at the appropriate. When I say the level, let's not forget that the average reading age is about sort of 9 or 12. So it's about making things very simple, but also relating it to their everyday lives as well. So some of the risk communication that some organisations do is sort of saying, look, if you drink drive, you will probably lose your job. So therefore you won't be able to go on holiday. You won't be able to buy your children Christmas presents or whatever. You know, if you lose your license, not only will you lose your job, you won't be able to drive, and therefore you won't be able to go and play football on a Saturday because you can't drive there. So it's not only just about relating health and safety to the immediate sort of the work environment, it's also then getting people to think about how they behave in work influences how they behave out of work. And sometimes those are stronger pulls or stronger drivers, and there's actually nothing wrong with, I was going to use the word exploiting, but using those sorts of messages to help people make the right decision.
Well, I think the new DFT drink campaign actually on that is about that. I think it's something like a small decision, big impact sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's about that. Yes, that one drink might lead to those other things. And what I would like to see is companies promoting, the sort of, DFT have done this, we're going to promote it because it's Christmas. You've got the staff do coming up. How's everyone getting home afterwards and stuff like that?